Hey there gardeners, I picked up a great bargain today, I think, and basically what I've got here is a Canistel, which I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's also called Yellow Sapote, and this is the Emma variant, and the reason I picked one up is because I was looking through a local nursery, looking for bargains, because I normally am, and I saw these and they were about 90 bucks full price, and I was thinking, oh damn, and I had a little bit of a look at the very faded sticker and saw that it was a fruiting plant because that's the section of the nursery it was in. I loved these almost mango-like leaves, which I don't know if you can see whether that'll focus on that or not. Certainly a really cool looking tree and one that I thought would be a great addition to my garden when I noticed that they were discounted down to 25 bucks, which is still a significant amount of money at the end of the day. But for a fairly established tree like this, that's going to go in a quite protected part of the garden with a whole heap of some sapotes, some guava, things like that, that are a little bit more protected from the frost here. Not that we really have frost, but it's a very protected section of the garden. I thought it'd be perfect for this. And for 25 bucks, I couldn't say no to this opportunity really, because I haven't really seen them around a whole heap. But let's have a quick chat about the Canistel. So as I already mentioned, these are also called the Yellow Sapote, the cupcake fruit, the egg fruit, and the Sapote amarillo, which is particularly exotic sounding. Now these are a tropic fruit, they're an evergreen from South Mexico and Central America, which makes them probably a little bit more tropical than the subtropics that I am personally in, but that is not an issue at all because I'm going to try and make it work, particularly with this being a discounted tree. If I was paying the full $90, I'd want to know that it was going to go pretty well. Now, as far as the descriptions of the fruit, I have been told that this has a sweet flesh, a texture like a hard-boiled egg yolk, so that might not be the most appealing to you, and it has an egg custard-like flavour, or some people say it has kind of a sweet potato flavour, which I think is interesting enough to give a try. Now, this is also related to the lucuma, the Mame Sapote, and the Abiu, which I have probably mispronounced all of those. Now, as I mentioned, this is the Emma variant, and there are the Aurea, the Kona, the Grey, the Lindell, the Ross Sapote, and the Alan Carl, I believe, as far as other variants that are quite popular and mentioned online when I was doing a little bit of research. As far as planting, apparently these are quite happy in a variety of soils, although that is a bit of a meaningless statement. They do say they don't mind a bit of sand, and they do want well-draining soil, which is quite important. It's a fast-growing plant as well, so a bit on the weedy side of things, which is unsurprising from kind of that style of plant when you actually look at it. So they do recommend a hole twice as wide and twice as deep, and with this being quite root-bound, that would require a decent-sized hole, probably 600 mil deep, so we will give that a go. Apart from that, they do also recommend them for containers, and you can move them inside in winter if you're in a much colder area than me. And they reckon fruit in 1 to 2 years, which is what I'm going to be hoping for if we can get it to survive in the ground. So there you go, a really interesting addition to the garden. I think this will be a cool one. It is going in somewhat close to my loquat, which actually I think has fruit that looks a little bit like this, if perhaps with a different kind of texture and flavour. And again, I hope this is going to be a really good addition, because 25 bucks isn't cheap enough to be a throwaway plant, but it's certainly cheap enough to give a try to something a little bit different. Okay, so end result, we've got our Canistel planted in the ground. As you can see here, it's still looking a little bit sad because I left it out a little bit too long in the pot without checking that it was being watered. It was raining. I thought, that's cool, the rain will get onto the plant. It had fallen over, it wasn't getting any water. It's still looking a little bit moisture stressed. The ground has been very, very well watered, so we're just gonna see how this one goes, because basically it's in the ground. I haven't got a stake for it, which may be a little bit necessary because it's kind of falling over a little bit, but it feels pretty sturdy in the ground there. We've got the mulch down as well to hold that moisture in around the plant, which is something that I just do with everything I put in new, because it's warm enough and it's windy enough that a lot of moisture gets sucked out of the plants if we don't do something like that. And hopefully this plant will do really well. And as a little bit of a bonus, let's go have a look at one of my Jaboticabas, which I bought super cheap, and I wasn't really sure if they were going to survive, and hopefully it's doing okay. Look at that. How magical are these? These are an Australian orchid, iris? Not really sure. Got given it by a family member, by my mum. Been trying to get some of the other ones she's got, because she's got some that are like a deeper red / purple, really, really cool. This one I had in Sydney in Pennant Hills in our apartment out on the balcony. It was never super happy. It actually got quite a lot of kind of like a mildew on the leaves. I just chucked it out here in the garden. I've left it and it's flowering. It's looking really good. We've got 2 stems of flowers on it, one that's out, yeah, and one that's coming out now. Really, really good. But let's have a look at that Jaboticaba. It's not looking the best. The leaves are looking a little bit frazzled. I did have to chop off a whole heap of the roots because it was so root bound in the pot, which is why I got it so cheap. But it is still alive. I have come out and watered these. Most of the plants out in this section of the garden I don't really water. They're kind of on their own. But because I wanted to keep this alive, I did give it and its brother or sister up on the other side a bit of a water. And I just wanted to help them recover from the root shock of really being hacked like that. But I also didn't want those roots basically strangling the plant, because that's not going to be great. But yeah, so that's another cool little addition, and I'm hoping in a couple of years' time, I think they take a while to fruit, but you know, maybe 5 years' time, I will have that very, very cool fruiting tree growing quite successfully here. Fingers crossed, and that'll be a very cool one to show off.